Hey there YouTube, this is resplendentxatu and welcome to my very first ever video on YouTube. Also my very first ever Randomizer Nuzlocke playthrough of Pokemon Ruby version. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Nuzlocke, I don't know how any Pokemon fan could really not be familiar with the Nuzlocke at this point. When I lose a Pokemon, it dies. That's the biggest rule of the Nuzlocke. I also have to name all my Pokemon. I can only catch the first Pokemon that's encountered on the route. And there's a few other rules. But again, that biggest one is that if I lose a Pokemon, it dies. In addition to that, the Pokemon in the overworld, as well as the trainer's Pokemon, have been randomized to completely surprise me in the playthrough. Now, if any of you are interested, there actually is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet available of the changes that were made. I'm not going to look at it, at least until after the Nuzlocke is completely over. And I say that because a lot of YouTubers will do things like stack their randomizers up with a ton of legendaries and stuff like that, just for the views, stuff like that, and then act surprised. And I'm not going to do that, because first off, I think it's kind of sleazy. In addition to that, I think the game will be a lot more fun for me, personally, if I don't know what's coming, right? Okay, so let's go upstairs and set the clock. My internal battery's dry, so it's not going to matter anyway, but let's change it. There we go. Anyway, so I am going to use this speed up feature fairly frequently in this first part of the game, just because none of the dialogue is interesting. And secondly, because I think the reason that you would watch a Let's Play Nuzlocke is to see the intense battles that go on. So the faster we can get to intense battles, the better. Crap. Yeah. Sometimes that speed up will get you. So I never really liked May that much as a rival. She's definitely not the worst. But we were just coming off of Gen 2, which in my opinion has the best rival in the history of the series. And Gen 1 had the second best in my opinion. So this is kind of where the decline started, although I do think that the Gen 4 Berry is a little better than May. But obviously the ones that are come out now are just super boring. How it's really bad. I did like the one in Let's Go. I'm not sure what his canonical name is, but he was a little better, just because he had kind of a story part where he adopted the Cubone in the story. So I thought that was cool, but even so, he was just a worse version of Blue. Okay, so my three Pokemon here, I've got Slackoff, Seedot, and Dratini. It's kind of a tough decision. I know that Slacking is strong, but I don't really like his... I mean, nobody likes his ability. It's terrible. And it makes him really weak. I don't really want to deal with that. I'm not interested. Seedot is good, but he's not really an offensive Pokemon. I think for a starter, you kind of want an offensive Pokemon. And Dratini, I think, is the best option here. Now, Dratini is going to be pretty hard, just because I don't think Dratini's that good until it evolves, and it evolves at a really high level. So I'm going to be stuck with a fairly weak Pokemon until fairly late in the game, unless, of course, it dies. Which is a strong possibility when Dratini is... Oh, I'm not that good at using Dratini. Well, and then on top of that, what's really cool about these Nuzlocks, and especially these randomizer Nuzlocks, is that one of the purposes of them is to get me to play with something I've never played with before. Dratini, I've kind of always wanted to use. I've never used him in any playthrough, except for Let's Go. And Let's Go's a little bit different, let's be honest. I have really mixed feelings about Let's Go. All in all, I liked the game. I thought it was a good game. I'm probably never going to play through again. But I did enjoy the playthrough. And there's a few features that I would like to actually see move on to that Gen 8 game that's coming out in 2019. But there's also a lot that I wouldn't. Particularly, one of my favorite things in Pokemon has been breeding. And they got rid of that. Okay, so I do have to nickname my Pokemon in Nuzlocke. And I'm going to go ahead and name it Drat. Just because I can't think of a nickname, and Drat, I can't think of a nickname. Also, Dratini starts in Drat. Okay, so I have to meet May on Route 103. Okay, so the Nuzlocke also doesn't begin Magneton. But the Nuzlocke doesn't begin until I get Pokeballs. So remember the rules here. I can only catch the first Pokemon on each route. So that's kind of a double-edged sword. If I manage to catch Metagross, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. That'll be a big advantage for me early on. But he also will be really difficult to catch. Could possibly kill my Dratini in catching him. And he's going to level up really slowly. But if I can pull off a catch, it'd be awesome. Let's talk to this guy. I think he gets us a potion. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to want that later. In fact, I might even buy some more. If I have any money. I'm going to go ahead and buy all those in case I find Metagross later. Because he could definitely kill Dratini before I catch him. Okay, so we're getting ready for the first battle here. So I know that my rival picked from the existing pool of starters. Ooh. Yeah, I'd really like to use that. But I'm not sure which starter she's going to have, so this will be a surprise here. She's going to have either C-Dot or Slack-Off. Okay. So first intense Nuzlocke battle. Dratini versus Slack-Off. Ooh. Another thing, Wrap is a terrible move for catching. And just kind of in general. I mean, unless you're in Gen 1. I don't know if you guys have played through Gen 1, really. But Wrap is super overpowered in Gen 1. Oh, crap. I didn't want to do that. That was stupid. Dang it. Oh, crap. Not again. Okay. Note to self. Stop spamming A. Crap. So does Slack-Off even have that terrible... Oh my gosh. Slack-Off has that terrible ability too. That makes me really glad I didn't pick Slack-Off. And Shedskin, hey, Dratini's already paying off. I hate this battle. It's not even intense, it's just obnoxious. Like, I'm 90% sure I'm going to win the battle. There we go. Woo! Okay, so I'm heading back. I get my Pokédex here. I did set the game to start off with the National Pokédex, which means I'll get to read Pokédex entries for every Pokemon that I get. In fact, that's probably the first thing I'll do with my new Pokédex, is read the Pokédex entry for Dratini. Ooh, that's annoying. Well. Okay, why is Dratini not on my... Oh, that was a... Sorry, I look like an idiot. Yeah, that's why. National Dex. Dratini, okay. Dratini continually molts and sloughs off its skin, its old skin. It does so because the life energy within its body steadily builds to reach uncontrollable levels. Those uncontrollable levels are Dragonite. But it's cool to talk about Shed Skin in the Pokédex entry because we already took advantage of that ability against Slackoff. Okay, so I have running shoes. That means I can use the speeding up a little bit less in the overworld. But, okay, we're getting ready for our first encounter here. Magneton. Okay, I'm actually happy it's not Metagross. That would have been a disaster. Oh boy. Still going to be a pretty tough catch, I think. I mean, Magneton's a fully evolved Steel type in Generation 3. So that is what it is. It's got high defenses, and it's going to be tough to weaken it down. Thankfully, it looks like Thundershock doesn't do a whole lot to me. In fact, it only took 1 hit point. That's good. I've always liked Magneton. You know, I used Magneton in my very first Pokemon playthrough. It was Pokemon Silver. Back when I was really young. And I wasn't around for Gen 1, actually, originally. I started in Gen 2. And for that reason, I have kind of the same nostalgic attraction to... Well, I kind of have the same nostalgia for the Gen 1 Pokemon as I do the Gen 2 Pokemon. That I was kind of introduced to them all at the same time. And in my mind, I almost don't differentiate between Feraligatr and a Gen 1 Pokemon like, say, Magneton, which I've always really liked. I gotta be careful, I'm gonna kill this thing. See, that's why I was saying Rapid's such a terrible move for catching. It it's going to kill my mons, and it doesn't do very much damage, but at low levels like this, I mean... Oh, thank goodness. Okay, we'll see. I'm not sure if I can even pull off a catch here. Oh, that's why I bought the potions. Oh. Yes! I got scared there for a second because I guess in Gen 3 I forgot that they didn't do the sparks animation when you catch yet. Okay, Magneton emits a powerful magnetic force that is fatal to mechanical devices. As a result, large cities sound sirens to warn citizens of large-scale outbreaks of this Pokemon. Sweet, that's our first capture. And our team is now consisting of Dratini and Magneton. I'm going to go ahead and name this Magneton Miracle. Because that was a miracle. Well, two miracles actually. The first miracle was that I didn't encounter Metagross and have it kill me. And the second miracle was that I actually caught that. Okay. I'm going to buy some Pokeballs real quick. Singular, a Pokeball. Okay guys, so I've kind of decided to run my episodes based on major events in the gameplay. So I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here with my first capture. I'm going to kind of try to keep the episodes a little shorter, between 10 and 20 minutes long. And that way they'll be shorter and easier to watch, but I'm also going to try to upload about 3 or 4 at a time so you guys don't run out of things to watch also. And so, without further ado, I've been resplendentxatu, and be sure to turn in next time for another great Let's Play.